Los Angeles, California. November 1992. In a small apartment, one sound keeps tapping against the walls like a countdown. A ringing phone. Once, twice, a third time in the same week. A 29-year-old man sits perfectly still, staring at the receiver like it's a trigger. His name is Kevin Mitnick. And in roughly 60 seconds, he's about to do something most people only see in movies. He's going to disappear. Not leave town for a few days. Not crash at a friend's place. Disappear the real way. Cut the identity. Erase the trail. Step out of his own life as if it never existed. The call is from his probation officer. Mitnick doesn't pick up. Not because he's reckless, but because he knows something the voice on the other end doesn't. There's a warrant for violating probation, because he's hacking again. Mitnick stands, crosses the room, and opens his closet. He reaches in and pulls out a bag that isn't luggage. It's a fugitive survival kit, packed 3 months ago. Cash, fake IDs, cloned cell phones, the bare minimum required to live off the grid. He's been here before. 1988. Caught. 1 year inside. Released, promised he'd stop. And then, like a habit with no cure, he went back to the same game. Not for money, not ever. For the rush, the challenge, the private proof that he's smarter than the system built to stop him. But the most dangerous part of Kevin Mitnick isn't code. It's something simpler, something human. Mitnick doesn't break into systems with tools first. He breaks into them with people, a friendly voice, a confident tone, a convincing title. IT support. Network operations. System admin. Whatever fits the moment. And the frightening thing is, it works, again and again. Because the strongest firewall in the world means nothing if someone inside the building hands over the keys. Tonight, Mitnick leaves everything behind. His apartment, his family, his name. He walks into the dark and becomes a moving shadow across the United States. But this time is different. He isn't running from local cops. He's running from the FBI, an agency that doesn't forget, doesn't slow down, and doesn't stop. And for the next 2.5 years, Kevin Mitnick will become the most wanted computer criminal in America. A fugitive, a legend, a ghost. The manhunt starts right now. FBI Headquarters, Los Angeles, November 1992. A man sits behind a desk stacked with files, scanning a name he already knows too well. Kevin David Mitnick, age 29, known hacker, probation violator, now officially a fugitive. The man reading the file is Special Agent Ken McGuire. He's been tracking computer crime for nearly 5 years. Hackers aren't new to him. Arrests, prosecutions, prison sentences. He's seen the cycle enough times to recognize the patterns. But this one feels different. Not because Mitnick is the most technically advanced hacker McGuire has encountered. Because Mitnick is something far more dangerous. He's good at hiding. The file lays out the history. At 17, Mitnick hacked into the Los Angeles bus system and created unlimited free ride passes. Not for profit, just to prove he could. At 22, he breached Digital Equipment Corporation, stole proprietary source code, and crossed a line the authorities couldn't ignore. That arrest led to prison. 1 year inside. Released in 1989, Mitnick promised reform. For a while, it seemed like it worked. 3 quiet years. Then the probation violations began. The same behavior, the same intrusions, the same invisible fingerprints. Now he's gone. McGuire starts pulling threads. Credit cards, nothing. Bank accounts, frozen, untouched. Phone records, clean. No digital footprint. No obvious trail. It's as if Mitnick didn't run. It's as if he evaporated. But McGuire understands fugitives. Eventually they crack. They get lonely. They reach back toward the life they left behind. A phone call to a friend. A message to an ex. One small emotional mistake. So McGuire sets the trap. Surveillance on Mitnick's mother. His friends. Anyone from his old life who might hear from him. What McGuire doesn't fully grasp yet is that Mitnick's greatest weapon isn't technology. It's manipulation. Mitnick doesn't brute force passwords. He doesn't need to. He simply asks. A calm voice, the right terminology, a sense of urgency. People want to help. They want to solve problems. And when someone sounds like they belong, doors open. Corporations, phone companies, network operators. Again and again, Mitnick extracts in minutes what would take traditional hackers days or weeks. And now those same skills are keeping him free. He lives on cash, moves under fake names, uses cloned phones that leave no clear trail, never stays long enough to become predictable. Most fugitives run out of money, or patience, or discipline. Mitnick doesn't. He can fabricate identities, generate income quietly, disappear into the background of everyday America. By the time Maguire realizes this chase won't follow normal rules, Mitnick is already 2 states away, living under a name that doesn't exist, working a job that doesn't ask questions. This isn't a sprint, it's a long game, and neither man fully understands yet just how far it's going to go. Seattle, Washington, March 1993. 4 months after Kevin Mitnick vanished. Inside a quiet public library, he sits at a computer terminal, blending in perfectly. Libraries are ideal places to disappear. No names, no questions, no permanent records. Mitnick is careful, methodical, disciplined. Every session is short. Every connection is routed. Every move is calculated. But no matter how skilled he is, Mitnick is still human. And humans get lonely. He makes one phone call, just one, to his grandmother, not to share information, not to ask for help, just to hear a familiar voice and let her know he's still alive. He uses a cloned cell phone, copied from someone else's cellular ID, making the call appear to come from a completely different person. On paper, it's untraceable, nearly perfect. But back in Los Angeles, FBI monitoring equipment detects something impossible. A single cellular ID appears in 2 places at the same time, Los Angeles and Seattle. That shouldn't happen unless someone is cloning phones. The call lasts 90 seconds, not long enough to pinpoint an address, but long enough to identify the city. Seattle. Kevin Mitnick is in Seattle. Agent Ken Maguire mobilizes immediately. A team is assembled. Flights are booked that night. When chasing someone like Mitnick, hesitation means losing him again. The FBI starts with simple logic. Mitnick needs computers. He needs internet access. But he can't use a home connection. Too risky. So where does someone like him go? Public libraries, coffee shops, internet cafes. Agents canvass every location, photos in hand, asking the same question. Most people say no. Then one librarian pauses. She remembers a man. 2 weeks earlier. Used the same computer every day for nearly a week, then suddenly stopped coming. Maguire feels it. They're close. Surveillance is set up at that library and several others nearby. Agents wait. 3 days, 5 days, a full week, nothing, because Mitnick is already gone. He sensed it, that instinct that's kept him free. By the time the FBI arrives, he's moved again. Now he's in Portland. Different city, different name, different life. He's delivering pizza, paid in cash, no ID required, invisible. But he can't stop hacking. It's an addiction. Every few days, he finds another library, another terminal, another corporate network to break into. Not for money, but to prove he still can. And every time he does, he leaves something behind. Small traces, brief anomalies, enough to matter. In Denver, a system administrator at Sun Microsystems notices late-night access from an account that shouldn't exist. Credentials are correct, but the timing is wrong. He reports it. The FBI traces the access to a public library and arrives 2 hours later. Mitnick was there, and now he's gone. Agent Maguire flies to Denver, sets up surveillance, but Mitnick never returns. He's already in San Francisco. It's always the same pattern. The FBI arrives, Mitnick disappears, 1 step ahead, always moving. Maguire studies the behavior. Mitnick stays in a city for 2 weeks, sometimes 3, never longer. He never repeats locations. He's disciplined, paranoid, and precise. But Maguire knows something about fugitives. Eventually they get comfortable. Eventually they make a mistake. Mitnick hasn't made that mistake yet, but he will. Los Angeles, June 1993. 8 months into the manhunt. McGuire sits at his desk, speaking with another agent on the phone, discussing strategies and leads. What he doesn't know is that Kevin Mitnick is listening to this exact conversation. Because Mitnick didn't just hack corporations. He hacked Pacific Bell itself, the telephone infrastructure the FBI relies on. He has access to voicemail systems, call routing, internal lines. For months, he's been listening to FBI agents talk about how to catch him. The hunters explain their moves, and the prey takes notes. When they focus on Seattle, he leaves. When they fly to Denver, he's already somewhere else. He's not just reacting, he's anticipating. This isn't hacking anymore, it's psychological warfare, and Mitnick is winning. But every game like this has a flaw. The more confident you become, the bigger risks you take, and Mitnick is starting to believe he's untouchable. San Diego, California, December the 25th, 1994. Christmas Day. Tsutomu Shimomura is not supposed to be thinking about computers. He's supposed to be on vacation, staying at a friend's cabin near Lake Tahoe, surrounded by snow, skis leaning against the wall, enjoying a rare pause from work. Shimomura is one of the most respected computer security researchers in the world. He has worked with Los Alamos National Laboratory, consulted for the NSA, and built his reputation on understanding exactly how hackers break into systems so he can make those systems stronger. If someone knows how intrusions happen, it's him. At 3:00 p.m., his phone rings. It's a colleague from the San Diego Supercomputer Center, and the tone of his voice is wrong. Someone broke into Shimomura's workstation at work. Hundreds of files were taken. Research files, private communications, unpublished security techniques. Shimomura's first reaction is disbelief. His systems are heavily fortified, multiple layers of defense, the best security available in 1994. He designed much of it himself. Breaking into his machine isn't supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be impossible. But it happened. Shimomura doesn't finish his vacation. He doesn't pack carefully. He gets into his car and drives 4 hours back to San Diego. The entire drive, his mind races. Who could do this? And more importantly, how? Whoever broke in didn't stumble through. This wasn't sloppy or random. It was precise. When Shimomura arrives, he immediately begins analyzing the intrusion. What he finds is disturbing. The attacker used IP spoofing, a technique that forges a trusted IP address, so the target machine believes the connection is legitimate. Computers communicate using packets, each stamped with a source address. If that address looks trustworthy, the system responds. But TCP/IP requires perfect timing, a three-way handshake, sequence numbers guessed to the millisecond. This kind of attack demands deep knowledge of networking protocols, advanced tools, and absolute precision. Shimomura helped design defenses against this exact method, and yet someone slipped through a tiny window and exploited it flawlessly. The attacker didn't just gain access, he downloaded everything, over 100 megabytes of data, security research, software tools, private files, unpublished work on cellular network vulnerabilities, including research Shimomura developed for the NSA. This wasn't curiosity. This wasn't chance. This was deliberate. Then Shimomura discovers something worse. A message, a voicemail from a blocked number. The voice is distorted, mocking, confident. It tells him his security isn't good enough, that he lost, that he was beaten. Shimomura listens to the message again, and again. He isn't an emotional man. He's a scientist. Calm, logical, controlled. But this isn't just a breach. It's a challenge, an attack on his reputation and his life's work. Whoever did this wanted him to know. Shimomura begins building a profile. The technique, the precision, the arrogance, the need to taunt the victim. One name keeps surfacing. Kevin Mitnick. Mitnick has used IP spoofing before. He targets high-profile systems. He's been on the run for over 2 years. And the attitude, the way the hack becomes personal, that's Mitnick's signature. Shimomura makes a decision. He isn't going to hand this off and walk away. He's going to find Mitnick himself. He contacts FBI Special Agent Ken McGuire, the man who has been chasing Mitnick since 1992. Shimomura doesn't ask to help. He tells Maguire he's joining the hunt. Maguire can cooperate or get out of the way. Maguire agrees to work with him because Shimomura has something the FBI doesn't. Not just technical expertise, but relentless motivation. This isn't about procedure anymore. For Shimomura, it's personal. And when a hunt becomes personal, the balance shifts. Raleigh, North Carolina, January 1995. 2 months after the Christmas attack. Kevin Mitnick has been free for more than 2 years, and for the first time in a long while, he's starting to feel comfortable. Too comfortable. He's been in Raleigh for almost 3 weeks, longer than his usual limit, longer than what's safe. But he likes it here. The apartment is cheap, the internet is fast. No one asks questions. Comfort is dangerous. Mitnick is still careful, but small habits are forming. He calls a friend in California using a cloned phone. The call lasts 15 minutes. They laugh, talk about old times. He doesn't notice the pattern forming. Same friend, same time of day, same duration. Patterns are lethal. He orders pizza to his apartment, uses a fake name, pays cash, but it's still a delivery, still a real address, still a location tied to him. He visits the same public library 3 times a week, sits at the same computer during the same hours. The librarian recognizes him now, smiles, asks how his research is going. Mitnick smiles back, unaware that he's becoming memorable. And memorable is the opposite of invisible. His hacking becomes bolder. He's no longer just reading files. He's testing limits, breaking into corporate email systems, reading executive communications, financial data, merger plans. He doesn't sell the information, he doesn't use it. He reads it because he can. And every access leaves behind logs, timestamps, IP data, tiny digital scars accumulating somewhere in servers across the country. Back in Los Angeles, Agent Ken Maguire notices something familiar. Cellular anomalies, cloned phone signatures, multiple hits, all pointing to North Carolina, specifically the Raleigh area. On their own, the signals could mean anything. But Maguire has been chasing Mitnick for 2 years. He recognizes the rhythm. He calls Tsutomu Shimomura. Shimomura studies the data, the frequency hopping, the timing, the connection behavior. The signature is unmistakable. This isn't just any hacker. It's Mitnick. It has to be. Maguire prepares to move, but Shimomura stops him. Not yet. If they move too fast and Mitnick senses pressure, he'll vanish again. Maybe for years. They need certainty. They need precision. So they wait, they monitor, they gather more data. Mitnick keeps making mistakes. He's confident now. He's outplayed the FBI for years. Why would this be any different? What he doesn't know is that this time the FBI isn't alone. Shimomura has built tools the Bureau doesn't have. Custom tracking equipment. Software designed specifically to detect Mitnick's unique cellular signature. Technology capable of narrowing a signal down to a city block. Mitnick has no idea the net is tightening. February 1995. The system lights up. Another brief access. Seconds long, but enough. North Carolina again. This time, the signal is cleaner, stronger. The data converges. Raleigh. Maguire mobilizes immediately. A team flies out. Shimomura goes with them, bringing his equipment. Raleigh is large. 3 cities, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, hundreds of thousands of people. Finding one hacker inside it is like finding a single star in the night sky. Time matters. February 13th, 1995. Shimomura drives through Raleigh in an unmarked car with 2 FBI agents. In the back seat is a cellular frequency detector the size of a briefcase. An antenna extends upward, scanning constantly. Phones are everywhere. Thousands of signals flooding the air. Shimomura filters them, ignoring the noise, searching for one specific pattern. Mitnick's pattern. Hours pass. Nothing. Then a brief signal. Just seconds. Shimomura catches it. They mark the location. Roughly 10 square blocks in the northeast sector of the city. They return the next night at the same time. Mitnick connects again. 11:47 p.m. Another short burst. The same signature, stronger this time. The search area shrinks, 5 blocks, then fewer. Using multiple detections and cellular tower data, Shimomura triangulates the source. The signal leads to the Players Club apartment complex, building 202. But there are 40 apartments inside. They can't knock on doors, can't risk alerting him. If Mitnick realizes they're close, he'll disappear before sunrise. So they wait, they watch, they listen. February 15th, 1995. 1:15 a.m. Mitnick connects again. 8 seconds. That's all it takes. The equipment locks in. Building 202. Second floor, east side, 8 possible apartments. They cross-reference rental records, utility usage, payment methods. 1 unit stands out. Rented 3 weeks earlier. Cash deposit, no credit check. Tenant name, Brian Merrill. Brian Merrill doesn't exist. The social security number is fake. The ID is fake. Everything is fake. It's him. Raleigh, North Carolina, February 15th, 1995, 1:30 a.m. Ken McGuire doesn't hesitate anymore. He knows this is the moment. If they wait and Kevin Mitnick senses even the slightest pressure, he'll disappear again, maybe for years. 15 FBI agents assemble quietly outside Building 202. Body armor secured, weapons ready, no shouting, no rushing. This has to be clean. Inside the apartment, Mitnick has no idea. He's seated at his desk, laptop open, headphones on, fingers moving across the keyboard. Another system, another silent intrusion, another reminder that, in his mind, he's still untouchable. He doesn't hear footsteps in the hallway. He doesn't see agents positioning themselves outside his door. Then the knock hits, loud, sharp, authoritative. FBI, open the door! Everything stops. Mitnick's hands freeze above the keyboard. For a brief second, his thoughts race. This can't be happening. Not now. Not here. He was careful. Always careful. The knock comes again. Harder. Unmistakable. There's no doubt anymore. Mitnick looks around the room. The laptop, the hard drives, the cloned phones, the evidence stacked everywhere. He could destroy it. Pull cables, wipe drives, smash hardware, but there's no time. And he knows destroying evidence would only make what comes next worse. So he stands up, walks to the door, takes a breath, and opens it. Agents surge inside instantly, weapons drawn, voices overlapping with commands. Hands up, get down. Mitnick complies immediately. No resistance, no struggle. After more than 2 years on the run, he understands the truth. The chase is over. As agents secure the apartment, Mitnick looks toward the doorway. And that's when he sees him. Tsutomu Shimomura. Calm, silent, watching. The man whose system he hacked. The man who turned this from a case into a personal hunt. Despite the guns, the shouting, the end of his freedom, Mitnick smiles. He can't help it. He acknowledges Shimomura, congratulates him. Because even now, Mitnick understands the rules of the game, and he knows who won. Shimomura doesn't smile back. He simply nods. His part is finished. After 2.5 years, after crossing 25 states, thousands of miles, and countless near misses, Kevin Mitnick is finally in custody. FBI agents begin documenting everything, photographs from every angle. Inside the apartment, they find over 100 cloned cellular phone codes, 5 driver's licenses, 3 passports, 4 social security cards, all bearing Mitnick's face under different names, cellular cloning equipment, 7 hard drives packed with data. Forensic analysis reveals the scale of it all. Source code from Motorola, internal documents from Nokia, research files from Sun Microsystems, email archives from Fujitsu, customer databases from NEC, dozens of corporations breached, their intellectual property collected like trophies. The estimated damage reaches $80 million. Mitnick faces 14 counts of wire fraud, 8 counts of possession of unauthorized access devices, multiple counts of computer fraud, and illegal interception of communications. Potentially 25 years in prison. Los Angeles, 1996. Federal court. Cameras everywhere. Headlines call him the most wanted hacker in America. Prosecutors portray him as a digital menace, capable of catastrophic damage. Much of it is exaggerated, but the fear is real. Mitnick is placed in solitary confinement for 8 months, deemed too dangerous to be near phones, computers, or anything electronic. The trial drags on. Technical testimony overwhelms the courtroom. The jury struggles to understand it. The sentence comes down. 46 months plus time served, nearly 5 years total, and after release, a 3-year ban on using computers. For someone like Mitnick, it's a different kind of prison. He stayed ahead of the FBI for 2.5 years, outsmarted them again and again. But in the end, it wasn't a single brilliant move that caught him. It was comfort, patterns, confidence, small mistakes stacking up until the distance finally closed. Los Angeles, California, November 1992. You watched a man disappear. His name was Kevin Mitnick, and for a long time he really did become a ghost. Los Angeles, California, November 1992. You watched a man disappear. His name was Kevin Mitnick. For 2.5 years, he lived outside the system, outran the FBI, crossed 25 states, listened to his hunters plan his capture, and proved again and again that the weakest part of any secure system isn't technology. It's people. In February 1995, the chase ended in a small apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina. The ghost became real again. The legend was put in handcuffs. The story closed, at least on paper. But the question lingers. Mitnick went to prison. He lost years of his life. He lost his freedom. But the systems he broke into, many of them changed forever. Companies rewrote security policies. Governments rethought cybercrime. An entire industry began to understand that firewalls and encryption mean nothing if trust can be exploited with a phone call and the right words. Agent Maguire caught his man, but only after years of frustration, missed chances, and near failures. Shimomura won his personal war, but only by dedicating himself completely to the hunt. And Mitnick? He lost the game, but he changed it. So who really won? The hacker who proved the system was fragile? The FBI that eventually closed the net? Or a digital world that learned too late how exposed it truly was? Because Kevin Mitnick didn't invent hacking. He didn't invent deception. He simply revealed something uncomfortable, that in a world built on trust, the most dangerous vulnerability is still human nature, and that vulnerability never disappeared.